Have you ever felt that certain silences are louder than any headline? As if, out of nowhere, the atmosphere behind the scenes at a big club shifts subtly yet unmistakably. Right now, that's exactly the vibe surrounding St. James Park. There's something in the air. Something that hasn't yet been said out loud but is already starting to move the internal structures of Newcastle United. The first signs are there, discreet but meaningful. And for those who follow the club closely, this kind of atmosphere never shows up by accident. It feels like a new gear has started turning slowly, almost silently, but with a clear direction. This isn't just some scouting trip or casual agent talk. What's happening behind the scenes at Newcastle is the beginning of something far more ambitious. A strategic move, calculated down to the smallest detail, with the potential to open a whole new chapter in the club's sporting project for the season ahead. But what will be the first step of this new phase? The truth is, Newcastle's board is operating with even greater caution this summer. Unlike previous transfer windows, where rumors spread like wildfire, this time everything seems far more controlled, more restricted, as if the club's decision-makers want to avoid any exposure before the right moment. What's curious is that this quiet approach only makes the situation even more intriguing. And hey, if you're the kind of supporter who doesn't like to miss a thing, now is the perfect time to subscribe to the channel. Every video brings you exclusive insights, sharp analysis, and, most importantly, news you won't see in the mainstream media for days. Your subscription is what keeps this content alive, so if you haven't already, take a second to hit that button below. Let's uncover what's really happening on Tyneside together. And now, yes, we arrive at the piece of news, stirring things up behind the scenes. Newcastle United have opened official talks to sign Anthony Elanga, the rapid winger from Nottingham Forest, valued at over £50 million. The scoop was broken by Craig Hope of the Mail on Friday night. According to him, the club has made initial contact with Forest and lodged a formal inquiry about the player's situation. Elanga, who scored 6 goals and provided 12 assists last season, has long been on Eddie Howe's radar after a failed attempt to sign him last summer. This potential signing means much more than just adding another player to the squad. It could signal a new approach from Newcastle in this transfer window. Fewer signings, higher quality. Elanga, young and with strong resale potential, fits the exact profile Howe tends to work best with: quick, intense, tactically disciplined, and, above all, with plenty of room to grow in a project that demands not only talent but the right mindset. It's worth remembering that last season, Newcastle reportedly offered around £35 million for the Swedish forward, a bid that Forest quickly turned down. Now, with Elanga's value having risen and Newcastle's interest renewed, expectations are that the price could surpass the £50 million mark. It's a hefty gamble, but one that could pay off handsomely, especially if Elanga brings the same explosiveness and intelligence to St. James Park that he showed at Forest. And that raises some key questions. Could Elanga be the missing piece to help Newcastle level up? Is he a reliable, immediate option for the flanks, adding depth to the squad and freeing up players like Gordon and Isak? And most importantly, is he the type of winger you need to break down compact defenses? Something the club will likely face more of as it climbs the footballing ladder. Elanga may not be the classic inverted winger who cuts inside and creates magic, but his ability to stretch the play and open space could prove vital, especially away from home or in counter-attacking scenarios. He's versatile, can play on either side, presses with relentless energy, and maintains a highly professional attitude. All of this makes him, in Howe's eyes, a very useful option and, possibly even a game-changer, if nurtured properly. If you've been following this channel for a while, you know that our analysis always digs deeper. We're not just here for the who, but the why. And in this case, it's worth noting that Elanga isn't a random target. Newcastle know they need ready players but with room to evolve. And above all, players who arrive hungry, ready to fight for their place, not weighed down by inflated contracts or past glories. In that sense, Elanga seems to tick all the right boxes. Oh, and if you're enjoying this kind of in-depth coverage, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It's free, quick, and guarantees you early access to the most important Newcastle stories. Plus, your support helps us keep delivering this kind of high-quality content for fans who want to stay one step ahead. So go on, hit that button and join this growing black and white community. As of now, Newcastle are still in the early stages of talks. There's no formal bid submitted yet, but the inquiry made to Nottingham Forest made one thing clear: the interest is real, and the club is prepared to push for this deal. That suggests the football department is already discussing fees, payment structures, and especially the financial impact this deal could have on the overall summer budget. The source of the story, Craig Hope, is a journalist with a solid track record when it comes to Newcastle United. Over the past few seasons, he's broken numerous accurate stories about the club, always backed by reliable intel. So, the fact that he's calling Elanga the first major move of the summer isn't something to take lightly. When he reports something like this, it usually means there's serious momentum behind the scenes and, likely, more to come in the weeks ahead. Another important point to consider is the psychological impact a signing like this could have on the current squad. With Isak flying high and Gordon now an established attacking reference, Elanga would be arriving to directly compete with players like Barnes and Murphy. That kind of healthy competition is vital for a team looking to challenge for European places and in need of dependable squad depth. And speaking of depth, it's important to recall just how much Newcastle struggled last season with injuries. Key absences seriously affected performances in crucial moments, and lack of depth was one of the biggest concerns raised by both fans and analysts. With Elanga potentially on board, Hull would gain another reliable, physically resilient option for the Premier League grind. But the question still lingers. Is the reported fee truly worth it? Spending over £50 million on a player still developing is undoubtedly a risk even if the potential upside is huge. Hull clearly believes he can take Elanga to the next level. But some might wonder if cheaper options with higher technical ceilings might be available elsewhere. Clubs like Benfica, Ajax, or even teams in League One often produce wingers with massive potential at more accessible prices. Of course, these decisions aren't based solely on raw talent. Newcastle are building a squad with identity, chemistry, and, most of all, balance. And within that puzzle, Elanga could be the missing piece, not just in terms of playing style, but personality. Talent alone isn't enough. You need character, ambition, and the ability to adapt quickly to the club's vision and demands. Before we wrap things up, one last reminder. If you value this kind of well-researched, engaging content, subscribe to the channel. It's what keeps us going, bringing you the news straight from the source, always with a sharp eye on what really matters to the black and white faithful. Every subscription is a step forward in strengthening this passionate Magpies community, so don't forget, click that button and come along for the ride. And keep your eyes peeled, because this is only the beginning. The window's just opened, and Newcastle are already making it clear they won't be messing around this summer. If Elanga is indeed the first signing, we're in for an aggressive, strategic, and drama-filled transfer window. And as always, you'll hear about it here first. See you in the next video.